Today, I'm going to give you what I believe are the 5 biggest myths in the college recruiting process. And the reason I want to make this video is simple. There is so much bad information circulating in recruiting right now. It happens at tournaments, in group chats, on sidelines, and in social media. And sometimes it comes from people who generally mean well, but have never once sat inside a recruiting meeting with college coaches. Parents hear a story about what worked for one athlete 5 years ago and assume that same approach applies to their son or daughter today. That's where things get dangerous because recruiting has changed dramatically. The transfer portal, roster movements, budget cuts, NIL conversations, and large recruiting events have completely changed how recruiting happens. Yet families are still following advice built for a completely different era. And that bad information usually creates one of two outcomes. Families either wait too long to act or they panic and spend money in all the wrong places trying to catch up. And I've watched this happen for over 31 years as a college basketball coach and director of athletics. And I've watched talented athletes lose opportunities because their families were following outdated advice. I've watched parents spend thousands of dollars on events that led nowhere. I've watched athletes wait for coaches to magically discover them. And I've watched families put their child's future in someone else's hands instead of taking ownership themselves. So today, I'm going to break down what I believe are the 5 biggest recruiting myths that continue to hurt families. More importantly, I want to help your family avoid them. Before we even jump in, if your family feels overwhelmed or you're trying to figure out where to even start, download my free college recruiting Jumpstart pack below. It's free and it gives your family a very clear starting point. Now, let's get into myth number 1. We can wait until junior or senior year to start the recruiting process. This is probably the biggest myth in recruiting, and it creates more panic than almost anything else I see. Families tell themselves this all the time, that we have plenty of time. We'll reach out next year. We're just focused on development right now, and we'll deal with recruiting during the junior year. And listen, development is absolutely important, and your child should be getting better. But recruiting doesn't magically begin junior year. That's where families get caught because recruiting is not one big moment. It's a series of small actions that compound over time. Building a school list, researching programs, understanding what level fits your athlete, creating strong film, academic prep, all that takes time. Learning how to communicate with college coaches and building those relationships with those programs, that all takes time. And here's what happens when families wait. Junior year shows up, and now everything's urgent. Now they're trying to build a highlight film in 2 weeks. They're emailing schools they've never even researched. And then they're signing up for random showcases because someone told them they need exposure. They're looking over their shoulder at athletes who started preparing much earlier. That panic leads to emotional decisions, and emotional recruiting decisions are expensive decisions. So let me be clear. Every sport has different timelines. Football can look different than baseball. Basketball can look different than volleyball, lacrosse, or soccer. I get all that. But here's what I tell every family, regardless of sport. By freshman and sophomore year, your family should be learning how this process works. You should understand realistic levels, and you should begin identifying potential schools. You should know what coaches actually evaluate because when your junior year arrives, you should be executing, not learning recruiting from scratch. The families that create the best outcomes are usually not the most talented families. They're the families that started learning the process early enough to make smart decisions when it counts. Here's some action steps. Sit down this week as a family and have one honest conversation. What do you actually know about the recruiting process right now? Not what you've heard, not what someone told you, but what do you actually know? If that conversation is short, that tells you exactly where you need to start. Grab my free recruiting Jumpstart pack below. It gives you a clear picture of where your family stands and what you need to do next. Myth number 2. If my child is good enough, coaches will find them. This is a myth that keeps families passive when they should be active. And I get it. It sounds logical. If my kid is talented enough, coaches will figure it out. That's not how it works anymore. And it hasn't worked that way for a long time. Coaches today are not sitting in offices waiting to discover unknown athletes. They're overwhelmed. They're managing their rosters. They're navigating the transfer portal, and they're dealing with budget pressures. They're watching film on athletes who have already reached out to them. Visibility does not happen by accident. Visibility is created. That means communication matters, and that means showing up at the right events and then following up after those events. I've watched incredibly talented athletes get passed over because no one in their family has ever reached out to a college program. And I've watched average athletes earn roster spots because their family was organized, professional, and persistent with their communication. Talent gets you on the radar. Your communication keeps you there. Showing up at recruiting events without a strategy is just expensive travel. Here's your action steps. Pick 3 to 5 schools that genuinely interest your family and send a real introductory email this week. Not a form letter, not an email blast, a thoughtful, specific email that tells that coach who your athlete is, why their program caught your attention, and what you bring to the roster. Myth number 3. My high school coach or club coach will handle my recruiting process. This is another myth that gets families in real trouble. And let me be very clear before I say this. There are outstanding high school coaches in this country, and there's outstanding club coaches too. Some of them are incredible advocates for their players. Some make phone calls, send film, and some genuinely open doors. And that absolutely helps. But too many families hand over the entire recruiting process to someone else. And that's dangerous. Think about a club coach for a second. They may have 12 or 15, sometimes even more players on the roster. How could they possibly manage the full recruiting process for everyone, just not your athlete? They're coaching games, they're running practices, handling travel, talking to parents, and in many cases, running their own business. Now, the same thing applies to most high school coaches. They may advocate for you and they'll support you, but they also have an entire program to run. And here's the bigger issue that no one talks about enough. Sometimes what your coach wants for your child may not fully align with what your family actually wants. Maybe they're pointing you towards one school because they know that coach. And maybe they're encouraging a level that doesn't fit academically or financially. Maybe they want your athlete at a certain event because it benefits their program's visibility. Your own priorities may change too. Maybe financial fit starts to matter more than prestige. Maybe your child wants a different campus experience than they did a few years ago. Those decisions belong to your family and not someone else. That means your family needs to own the school list, the communication strategy, the follow up process, the visit planning, and the final decision. Your coaches can absolutely be a part of your support system, but they never should be your entire strategy. The families that do this best use their coaches as valuable resources, not as the people responsible for your child's future. Now, here's an action step. Have a conversation with your high school or club coach this week. Thank them for what they're doing. Ask them specifically how they plan to support your athlete's recruiting process. And then come home and build your own plan on top of whatever they're doing. Don't replace their support, add to it. Because at the end of the day, your family is the one sitting at the signing table. Myth number 4. If my child gets a Division 1 or Division 2 scholarship, it's a full ride. This is one of the biggest financial myths in all of recruiting. Families hear the word scholarship and immediately think college is completely paid for. That's not how this thing works in most sports. Yes, there are full scholarship sports, football at the highest level, basketball at the highest levels, a few others depending on the program and situation. But in many sports, that's simply not a reality. Baseball historically has been one of the clearest examples. For years, coaches had to divide 11 scholarships across the entire roster. Think about what that means. You may have 30 plus athletes fighting over that limited scholarship pool. That often results in partial scholarships, 25%, 40%. You might be getting just books or housing or maybe a small athletic package combined with your academic aid. And now, with everything happening in college athletics, it became even more complicated. Schools are managing revenue sharing, NIL pressure, budget cuts, and roster changes all at the same time. Some institutions simply don't have unlimited scholarship money. Just because a school can offer athletic aid, it doesn't mean they're fully funding every roster spot. And here's another reality families need to understand. A lot of schools are becoming far more cautious on how they stack financial aid. In the past, some schools would aggressively combine athletic money, academic scholarships, need based aid, and institutional grants to put together attractive packages. Some schools still do this very well, but many others are pulling back because higher education is under financial pressure right now. I sit in these meetings as an AD. Schools are watching every dollar. And here's what catches families off guard. I know Division One athletes right now still writing significant checks out of pocket every semester. And that surprises people because they assume Division One means free school, and it doesn't. This is why I tell families to stop asking whether they got a scholarship and start asking the right questions instead. What is the total financial aid package? What are we paying out of pocket? What happens if coaching staffs change? And what does this actually cost over 4 years? That is a real conversation because chasing the word scholarship without understanding the full picture can lead to an expensive mistake. Here's your action step. Before you evaluate any offer, build a simple side by side comparison and write down every school your athlete's considering. Next to each school, list what you actually know about the financial aid package. Then list what questions you still need answers. If you can't complete that chart, you don't have enough information yet to make a good decision. Myth number 5. Once college coaches start contacting me, I'm getting recruited. Well, this myth creates false confidence. And I've watched families completely misread what recruiting communication actually means. Their son or daughter gets an email from a college coach. It could be a camp invite, a questionnaire, a social media following, a simple text message. And immediately the family thinks they're being recruited. Well, slow down. That may be real interest, but a lot of times it's simply early evaluation. And sometimes it's just mass communication. So let me give you a real life example. At major recruiting events today, coaches may walk into a facility with 30 or 40, sometimes 50 courts running at the same time. They cannot watch everybody. So they build recruiting boards. Sometimes that list is 100 players. Sometimes it's 200 or more, depending on the sport. They collect names, watch a few stretches of games, take notes, and move on. And after the event, a lot of the athletes receive emails, the camp invites, the questionnaires, follow up communications. That doesn't mean you're at the top of anyone's board. And let's talk about camps specifically. Some camps are absolutely worth attending. If a coach has been consistently communicating with your athlete, watching film, and talking specifically about fit, that camp visit is meaningful. But if you're receiving a mass email invite from a school that has never watched your athlete play, That could simply be camp marketing. And families spend hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars traveling to those camps thinking an offer is waiting on the other side. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes those camps are just revenue tools for the program or the athletic department. That's a truth not enough people say out loud. And let me take this one step further. Even verbal offers today are not always permanent. Roster situations change. The transfer portal is real and it happens in real time. Coaching staffs turn over, budget decisions shift, admissions factors come into play. And a coach may love your athlete today and a year later have a completely different roster situation. That's modern recruiting. Until paperwork is actually signed, until financial aid is reviewed, and your family fully understands the fit, you keep working and you keep communicating and you keep your options open. Communication from coaches means the process is unfolding. It doesn't mean you've made it. The families that handle this best stay excited and stay realistic at the same time. Now, your action step. Take every piece of contact your athlete has received from college programs and sort it into two categories: real dialogue, meaning back and forth conversations where coaches are asking specific questions and responding to your athletes directly, and one-way communication, meaning emails, camp invites, or questionnaires with no personal follow-up behind them. Focus your energy on building real dialogue. If most of what you have falls into the second category, that tells you exactly where to put your effort. So let's quickly recap the 5 biggest myths that continue to hurt families in recruiting. Myth number 1: we can wait until junior or senior year to start. The truth: start learning earlier than you think. You don't need to panic, but your family should understand this process before the pressure arrives so you can move with confidence when it counts. Myth number 2: if my child is good enough, coaches will find them. The truth: visibility matters, communication matters, film matters. Showing up at events without a strategy is just expensive travel. Talent is only one piece of this process. Myth number 3: my high school coach or club coach will handle recruiting. The truth: your coaches can absolutely help, but your family must own this process. No one should care more about your child's future than your family does. Myth number 4: scholarship means a full ride. The truth: understand the full financial picture. Ask better questions. What are we paying? What happens over 4 years? And what does this actually cost our family? Myth number 5: if coaches are contacting me, I'm getting recruited. The truth: interest is not an offer, and an offer is not always permanent. Keep communicating, keep evaluating fit, and keep your options open. And if you notice something, almost every one of these myths comes back to one thing: communication. Families wait too long to communicate. They don't know what to say to coaches. They don't know when to follow up, and they don't know how to build relationships with college programs. Well, guys, that's exactly why I created the College Coach Communication System. Inside the system, I walk families through how to email college coaches the right way, what to say before and after tournaments, how to follow up, how to handle phone calls, how to ask better questions, how to stay on a coach's recruiting board, and how to stop guessing through this entire process. If communication is the missing piece for your family, take a look at that below. And if you're just getting started, grab my free college recruiting Jumpstart pack. It's free. The link is right below in this video. And if you thought this video was helpful, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd like to reach out to as many families as I can and help them through this recruiting process. And with that, just remember, I am not a recruiting service. I am an educational organization that guides families just like yours through the college athletic recruiting process. Take care and we'll see you in the next video.